Ho ho ho! Hello everyone and Merry Christmas. This is Ananya.
And this is Radhika, and today we're going to walk you through the various Christmas traditions that are unique to India.
Starting with the Christmas morning. We don't do morning Christmas presents in India. Instead, we choose to wake up to a hot, spicy breakfast and then gather up the boxes of dark fruit cakes and homemade kuswar and head over to all our neighbors, family, and friends to distribute these Christmas goodies. In addition, we love to recreate the nativity scenes from the night of Christ's birth at a barn in Bethlehem, along with the three wise men, the shepherd, and the animals. We call them the Christmas Crips. Some plan their cribs early in the month, and in some parts of India, there's even a not-so-friendly competition in the neighborhood and between churches as to whose crib was the most elaborate with the lights, the fields, the nativity statues, and more. At midnight on Christmas Eve, we proudly praise the baby Jesus statue in the scene and then admire our handiwork all through the season. Did you know that Christmas carols in India have also grown to become ethnic? Well, neither did we until quite recently. With the growing need and desire to express oneself in their mother tongue when celebrating Christmas, there are now carols and songs in Marathi, Konkani, Malayalam, Tamil, Hindi, and even Bengali to celebrate the coming of Christ. For example, Natalcha San, which translates as Christmas season, is composed by Joseph Jacinto in Marathi to celebrate Christmas and is sung by a group at the Our Lady of Egypt Church in Kalina. In Bombay itself, we have carols being sung in native languages in churches in Vasai, Thane, and in fact, areas like Talasari and Dahanu also have their own carols associated with their tribal tradition during the Christmas week.
A Goan Christmas. Christmas traditions in Goa make the season a festive one. Christmas in Goa has always been something everyone looks forward to. The young and the old look forward to all the parties, the rich food, the drinks, and not to forget the scrumptious sweets that almost every household prepares. Everyone's home is decorated with festive buntings, lights, and all kinds of Christmas decorations. Most Goan Catholics will make their way to their local churches for midnight mass celebrations either on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. It's actually interesting to learn that it wasn't the Portuguese who started these traditions in Goa. That distinction goes to the hippies who made Goa a Christmas destination. The 50s and 60s saw a lot of Americans and other Westerners discover Indian classical music and Indian mystic traditions. Scattered all over the country, they would meet up to celebrate Christmas in Goa that didn't and doesn't freeze during December, which is a definite bonus for these Westerners. Christmas preparations in Goa usually start almost a month in advance. A lot of effort is taken to plan the Christmas Day feast. All the work pays off because there really is a feast to enjoy on Christmas Day. There is a different table set up just for Christmas sweets. Other Christmas traditions include the preparation of the crib depicting the birth of Jesus. People get innovative and build them from waste and scraps, fashioning each figure very carefully and painting them to look as realistic as possible. Tree decorating and Christmas caroling are also other fun Christmas traditions that people follow in Goa.
The East Indian Christmas traditions include the pintyacha soup, a bracing and soul-warming country chicken soup, which is not only a common East Indian folk medicine but also a Christmas Eve tradition. It is generally prepared before heading out for the midnight mass and is the first thing that is had once everyone returns home. After the soup comes the Christmas sweets and cake. It's not a mandate for the Christmas night to end with an alcoholic drink, but for those who wish to, there is always a batch of khimad brewing on the stovetop on a cold Christmas night. Now, khimad is a spice-sweetened drink with coconut liquor as its base. Khimad itself is often used as a base to prepare variations of cocktails and martinis. On the Christmas night, however, traditionally a hot concoction is prepared with coriander, turmeric, spices, and a small quantity of country liquor or whiskey, which is then added to the glass of khimad.
A very Minglorean Christmas. Bangalore is known as the Rome of the East because there is a large number of churches in its diocese. Mangaloreans love family and always celebrate with their families. They are culturally very happy, helpful, and enterprising people. Their mother tongue is Konkani. They have a unique culture and have myriad traditions, and in many ways are similar to the Goans. Every year in the first week of December, people put up their Christmas stars. The star is a reference to the star that pointed the way to the three wise men who were searching for the newborn Messiah. Households start preparing the savories and sweets called kuswar a month before Christmas. Plum cakes and other various types of baked goods are also prepared. Some people also make wine. This kuswar is distributed to friends, neighbors, and to those who help out at Christmas. It is a gesture of goodwill. New clothes are a special treat for children. Parishioners clean and decorate churches. Every church will have a large Christmas crib or nativity scene made by youth or the parish. There is an inter-church prizes to be won on whose crib is the best. Also, smaller cribs are done by every household and they too participate in the competitions. Charity events are organized during the festive season and people are urged to spread goodwill to all, especially the poor, and live the example of Jesus. On Christmas Eve, they attend midnight visual mass along with their family. There is carol singing in Konkani as well as English. Christmas skits are performed in churches. Sometimes games and other fun activities are organized. The youth attends balls on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. Christmas Day, however, is spent at home with family having a nice lunch, pork curry with other items. Traditionally, people go to their ancestral home and spend their Christmas with their families. They like to sing and dance to Konkani songs during gatherings.
For Anglo-Indians, their Christmas begins long before Christmas, meaning their celebration of the birth of Christ starts about at least 60 days before December 25th and continues for a minimum of 12 days after. So by early November, their homes are rich with the aroma of baking wafting like the warm promise of things to come. Then there are the Christmas cards. Today we either airmail or email them, but it is still an all-family affair because if one of your aunts has not received her greetings on time, the ripples of her wrath will spread across the entire family. Coming to the 10th day before Christmas, this is when the Christmas trees, lights, decorations, streamers, the Christmas star and the crib are all pulled out of storage, dusted, stirred, hung, nailed up and built. Carols ring out from the player and the cards, burns and abrasions don't really matter anymore. Those who have the time and the know-how taste their homemade wine, and there is an almost secret old Anglo-Indian non-alcoholic drink called the OT, and the initials stand for the other thing. So when the carolers come calling, giving us their variation of the traditional Christmas songs, they are offered cake, the homemade wine, and a small contribution for charity. For Anglo-Indians, dances and get-togethers were a social necessity. It was where young people met each other, which is something very important in a community that shuns the idea of an arranged match, because in such a community, you are responsible for finding your own life partner. Midnight Mass is always one of the highlights of the Christmas festivities. After Mass, everyone opens up their presents from under the Christmas tree and then catches a few hours of sleep before starting their rounds of Christmas calls with friends. For Christmas lunch, the Anglo-Indian staple kofta curry and yellow rice is a virtual necessity. Christmas dinner, however, is a very formal one, with Christmas crackers, soup, fish, roast goose or turkey, Christmas pudding, coffee and liquors. But that isn't the end of the Christmas festivities. The day after Christmas is known as Boxing Day, when traditionally families make small packets or boxes of Christmas goodies and distribute them to the less fortunate, that is to the orphanages and old age homes, for instance.
How Kerala does Christmas. In the 4th century, Thomas of Canna is said to have come to Kerala, and from then onward Christianity flourished. In Kerala, Christian celebrations are a delightful mix of Syrian Christian, Western Christian, and local traditions. Here are some of the simple joys in the way Malayalis celebrate Christmas. Children primarily make handmade cards which are then given to family, friends, neighbors, and whom else they wish to. Everyone greets one another after the midnight mass, and there are smiles all around. Carol singing starts weeks before Christmas. Carols are sung in all the local churches, and carol groups from the local churches come to the homes of the congregations. Everyone goes the whole 9 yards to make a lavish Christmas spread. Delectable plum cakes, for which fruits are soaked in wine almost 41 days prior, homemade wine and traditional dishes such as achappam cookies, unniyappam, neiyappam, kappa stew, kappa biryani, chicken or mutton stew, and appams, to name some of the flavoursome dishes. It is only recently that many Malayalis have started making turkey for Christmas. After the midnight mass, it is a tradition that the families then cut plum cake and drink some of the ambrosia homemade wine. Families send these dishes to their friends, neighbors, and others for breakfast and lunch. Families recreate the nativity scene by making their own crib and start making it nearly a month before Christmas. They place paddy, hay, make their own wells, etc. in order to capture the actual nativity that took place. Although some of the traditions may seem similar, there are small differences that make each tradition unique in itself. Here are all the traditions that we stumbled upon. I'm sure we've missed a ton. But I hope you liked what we had for you today. Merry Christmas!